I have just gotten back from Japan, and here are some styling tricks, styling inspiration that we can all learn from Japanese style. I made this video here a couple of years ago, and I absolutely adore Japanese style because it just gives me a new perspective on everyday fashion. From subtle differences in styling and layering to looking at what's popular in Japan, I want to break down all of the inspiration I got while I was there. Today's video is definitely not meant to be a reflection of what all Japanese people are wearing or what is accurate for Japanese style, but simply the things that I observed often while I was in Japan and the things that ultimately inspired me when I was there. We're gonna start pretty broad, but the first thing I observed is that Japanese fashion doesn't try to look undone. They don't try to look effortless or I just woke up this way. I think that if I were to describe their style, I would say it's very refined and polished, and then it's done in a way that is still simplistic and functional. These four words are basically how I see Japanese fashion as a whole. In the smaller towns I travel to, I think the focus is more on functionality and simplicity, but they still look really polished. Whereas in the larger cities, there's more of a focus on refinement and polish, and yet they haven't forgotten the simplicity or the function. So no matter where I was, I could see this attitude behind everyday fashion. So when you look at athleisure wear in Japan, people are not in really oversized sweatshirts and track pants. Even loungewear looks more polished. So you have these lounge skirts that look very cute, and then you do have sweatshirts, but they are a little bit closer to the body, but no matter what, they still feel like sets and they mimic everyday clothes very closely. Something that's really interesting to compare for me is that in Australia, you often see girls in activewear and then they'll put on this really nice dress to go have a fancy luncheon or to go out in at night. The range of formality goes from extremely casual to quite formal. In Japanese fashion, I feel like that range is smaller, where your baseline is simple but polished, and then you go towards more refined and polished, but your everyday style stays within this formality. So dressing up a little bit for every day, but then keeping that consistent towards evening is something that inspires me in my wardrobe. To really bring this point home about Japanese style being refined, polished, simple, functional, we can look at the best-selling pieces at popular brands. One of the top-selling pieces are tailored trousers. So tailored trousers like this I saw a lot of. They look very smart in an outfit, but the fabric always has a little stretch for everyday comfort. I have these pants in cream, so I actually know that they feel like almost a jogger, but they look like a work pant. And this kind of item perfectly explains what simplicity looks like in Japanese fashion. Flowy tailoring is popular, blazers are popular, these vests I've seen quite a lot, shirts I see often, and just tailored, neat-looking pieces are very popular. Second style lesson I'm learning from Japanese fashion is creative layering. The way I layer is often layering for functionality, whereas in Japanese fashion, I see a lot of actually creative layering tricks. Japanese fashion is quite modest, especially in the upper body area, so you're not going to see as many people in little camisoles or tank tops as you would maybe in Australia or in the US. So because of that, they've come up with creative ways to layer camisoles, dresses, and anything strappy on top. Being able to layer this camisole over a t-shirt just means that I can now wear this camisole in different seasons. When we look at this sheer dress, if we saw it in stores, we would never buy it because it seems so impractical. But styled this way, I love that you're getting that sheerness. It's such an interesting look in an outfit, but you're wearing it in a way that still feels practical. This dress definitely appears to be designed for layering, but I have a dress very similar from Garni. It's very low cut. It was in like an outlet. No one wanted to buy it because it doesn't seem practical, but I love layering dresses like this over t-shirts, long sleeves, and sweaters. We're just getting creative and making different things work. These first two things were kind of like big ones. Let's go to something really small that I'm taking inspiration from. There is so much fleece worn in Japan. And it's not the fleece I tend to think of for the outdoors or for practicality. It's like a white, very girly, fashionable looking fleece. And the reason I think this is popular is because it's very cute, it's very girly, very feminine, but it still keeps you quite warm in the winter. In Tokyo, in the city, every 5 women I saw, I swear someone was wearing fleece. I was one of those people because I knew from the last time I went to Tokyo that fleece was really popular. So I decided to embrace that this time round. I loved this vest. It was so practical, so comfortable, and it made me be able to adapt my outfits for the weather really easily. I saw a lot of more fashion fleece, but then I also saw fleece from brands like Patagonia, but most of the time I could tell that this is not just a practical item but a fashion item because it fits that more girly feminine style that a lot of Japanese women like. I feel like bag charms in Australia, in the US, it's considered a trend because up until recently it wasn't as widespread. But I do feel like in Japan, this is not a trend. I remember 10 years ago I was seeing this in Japan. I could observe a lot of people who didn't seem to follow trends in what they wore have lots of bag charms because this is something that really, I think, transcends a current fashion trend in Japan. Even in different stores, you see so many charms, so many accessories being sold that you just know this is not something that's just for right now, but almost like a classic in accessorizing, like we would think of jewelry. My honest opinion is that whether bag charms is a trend or a classic depends on personalization. In Japan, they are really lucky. They have so much variety in charms and they're more personalized. So you get the things that you are obsessed with, the characters you love, and I think that is what makes bag charms there longer lasting and less of a trend. This bunny was a gift at a sushi place. So I didn't buy this, but I got this as a souvenir and it's so cute. I have a little Hello Kitty because this is a symbol of my childhood, and then a little Anya from Spy Family because I just feel like she is so cute with her expressions. One of the major things I've learned from Japanese style is that petites can definitely wear long silhouettes. Long pants, long skirts, long coats, long anything, petites can wear them. I don't know where this misconception that petites cannot wear long things comes from, but Japanese fashion is always proving it wrong. So let's take a look at long silhouettes that were really popular and how they were worn. The way that they were often balanced was with shorter pieces. This is something I learned for myself probably in the last couple of years, but I'm always wearing very long with very short. And it's one of the easiest ways to make a long item feel balanced in an outfit. In this outfit, we've got really long skirts and trousers, but they've paired it with tops in different colors, so it breaks up the line of the outfit and it looks very balanced on the frame. In outfits like this, where the outfit is longer silhouettes, both in the knit and the skirt, she's got her hair up, she's got like the fringe, the shorter fringe, so those things help, as well as that shorter handle on the handbag. These are like little things that makes a difference to the styling. During this trip to Japan, there were lots of travelers and you had Japanese local travelers as well as foreign travelers. Something I noticed about local travelers was that they paid a lot of attention to hair and makeup. The hair was just done. I can't think of another way to say it. Whether it was very sleek and straight or whether it was more curled, whether it was wavy, it just didn't look like they woke up that way. Something was definitely done to it. And the same with makeup. You could go very light, you could go a little bit more creative, but either way, it was also done. I could always tell if someone was local based on the style of the hair and makeup, but also by the fact that it was done and done well. I also found it really interesting as I was traveling, sometimes through smaller towns, that your clothing could be very practical, very functional, simplistic, but even then, everyone's hair and makeup was done very well, very polished. So I feel it is an expectation as well as like a norm to be very presentable in your hair and makeup. This video is really just observations. I am definitely not always trying to say one is better than the other and comparing, different countries. It's just to observe what is normal in a country. And I think in Japan, neat, polished, presentable hair and makeup is a thing. Something you may have noticed in this video is that there are a lot of neutral colors. So in Japan, I feel like the most popular colors for women are white, beige, light camels, and then of course your navies and your blacks. In the middle of winter, I honestly noticed so much white, so much light pink, so much camel, and much more so than I would see around me here in Australia. There is definitely a preference for these lighter, more feminine colors. So what I'm especially inspired by in the neutral colors is that usually I'm not seeing these beige looks from head to toe, but it's more mix of neutrals. So we've got a lot of khaki, beige, navy, black mixed together, and we've got like beige mixed with blue to create some variety. Are they groundbreaking? No, but for an everyday outfit, they look very nice. What I'm really taking away here is using those lighter colors as my base. Over the last few months, I've been saving white everything on my Pinterest. It's just so practical for me now because most of my clothes are in this color. I do that one laundry cycle at the end of the week. Just makes sense. So I love wearing white, creams, lighter shades, and I want to wear more of this as we go forward. And then when it comes to brighter colors, if you're wondering what colors I saw a lot of green, more neutral shades of green. I saw this a lot in men's fashion, but I think also in women's fashion to an extent. Whether we talk about army green and khakis, or whether we're talking about a more saturated green, green was quite popular. And then in Japanese fashion, I find pink is always quite popular, especially in lighter shades. But even going to more vibrant colors, I do see a decent amount of pink. But neutrals definitely was more prominent over any color. Let's talk about oversized fashion because I feel like oversized fashion is kind of slightly becoming less popular in Australia. I'm not seeing like really oversized things as often, but oversized is still very big in Japan. I would say most people, especially in the cities, younger people, definitely are wearing at least one thing that is quite oversized. So the lesson I'm learning here is that oversized doesn't have to look messy. Oversized can still look neat. It sounds like an oxymoron, like these things can't be, but oversized and neat is what I saw a lot of in Japan. Let's talk about the wide leg pant example because this is so popular. They usually fit really well at the waist and in the length. So then when you've got these really large pant legs, it looks very intentional and clean in the outfit. It doesn't look messy. If the waist was baggy, if it was on the ground, it looks like it doesn't fit and it looks more undone. Whereas the way that Japanese people wear this oversized still looks like it fits them and still looks neat. So in this outfit, we've got this oversized sweater, looser, more oversized pants, pretty big bag, and then slightly chunky shoes. So I feel like the definition of that neckline, definition of wrist really helps. The fact that the pants actually fit really well in length and at the waist, and you know, hair is up, it creates a clean look, but collectively, I don't feel like she looks very messy. I still think she looks neat and polished. The thing I'm always taking away from Japanese fashion is that oversized is meant to be cool in shape, but it's not meant to make you look really sloppy and messy, and I love the way they approach oversized in a way that still looks good. Let's talk shoes. Shoes set the tone for an outfit. I 100% believe this, and this is what I saw in Japan as well. So starting off, it was winter. Black shoes are really popular, which is not groundbreaking, it's to be expected. Even sneakers, which we often see in white and lighter colors, were often black. Not always, often black. So I was especially noticing this because lately I've been loving the black sneaker. I have a pair of New Balances myself that I was wearing, and it just felt incredibly validating to see so many other people wearing black sneakers. Especially if you're wearing a dress or a skirt, you're wearing black tights. So black shoes just fit seamlessly with the tights and the rest of the outfit. In Tokyo, especially in like trendier neighborhoods, I saw so many Doc Martens and very chunky Mary Janes or lace-up shoes. I'm talking extremely chunky, and they were very popular. I'll see so many people wearing them, and much more so than I would here in Sydney. So firstly, I feel like these are good walking shoes because they're very sturdy. They're not flimsy shoes that you're gonna wear through in a few weeks. These look like sturdy shoes that you can walk around Tokyo in for a long time. So there's a practicality side, but I also feel like with the very oversized pants, with the oversized clothing pieces, this shoe just created a nice balance for the outfit. You know, big pants into a dainty little shoe is not always my style, so I love seeing this combination in outfits. The other shoe I saw a lot of are little black kitten heels. So in the winter, in the snow, it was interesting to see heels, but I think this is a representation of workplace dress code. So oftentimes people wear this with a puffer jacket, and then inside they'll have office clothes. So I feel like the dress code for work is quite polished, professional, refined, and the shoe represents that. Final style lesson, style inspiration that I'm taking away is to do with jewelry. Japanese style involves a lot of accessorizing, so whether that's bag charms or whether that's jewelry. And with jewelry, there are so many stores. I went to a town and there were so many jewelry stores lined up on this one street, and there were a lot of options. So I've done some research, looked at some brands, looked at what are top selling pieces, and I want to break down what kind of accessories are popular in Japan. First thing I noticed, pearls. Pearls are feminine, they're put together, they're girly. They were really popular in Japan. There were definitely a lot of younger girls wearing them, but they are absolutely universal for all ages or styles. I saw a lot of pearls. The jewelry tended to be on the smaller side, but there was a lot of layering. And then the jewelry also had very organic, creative shapes. So even though it was simple, I don't feel like it was boring. A lot of the shapes were very unique. Circle rings I saw a lot of, open, light, but a cool shape. I did get a little ring in Japan. It was kind of like a little gift. And in that store, it was the same situation where jewelry pieces were dainty, but they all had unique designs, very sculptural, very focused on shape, which I really liked. And then with stones, I do think jewelry overall leans feminine. So opal stones, these lighter pastel stones were very popular. Something I noticed about jewelry in Japan is that it's very accessible. So you really do have a lot of stores at more affordable prices so that everyone can be wearing jewelry. And then of course you also saw them in department stores and then luxury brands as well. So there is a big range, but you could get very nice pieces for more affordable as well. Those are some of the style things I saw in Japan. It was such a great trip. I'm feeling really inspired and really excited to be creating better outfits from all of this inspiration. So let me know in the comments what you think of Japanese fashion. Is there something you want to take away? Is there something you would wear? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to be filming videos again, and I'll see you next week. Bye.